Hello friends, and happy Thanksgiving. Today we have 3 short, creepy Thanksgiving horror stories for you. So sit back, relax, and if you enjoy, please like, subscribe, and share. Story 1. This happened on Thanksgiving last year. It was the freakiest thing that's ever happened to me, and I needed to tell somebody. I'm scared it will happen again. I have a large, close-knit family with lots of aunts, uncles and cousins. They all come to visit every Thanksgiving and my mom cooks a big meal. My grandma and granddad come too. It's a big fun day which I've always loved and looked forward to. We always eat too much and then veg out watching holiday movies after. Stereotypical, right? Well, what's not usual about us is every Thanksgiving, Easter or Christmas, any big family get-together really, mobile phones are banned. We all have to switch them off and put them away. Being a 15-year-old girl, this is a bit brutal, but it's the way it's always been, so I just go along with it, for the most part. Well, last Thanksgiving, we were partway through the meal and everyone was around our large dining room table, passing around the yams and stuffing and making jokes, recounting old family memories, the usual. I was having a great time, but truth be told, I did miss my phone. Any teenage girl would though. I hadn't even switched it off. I'd put it on vibrate and in my back pocket. Suddenly, I felt my phone going off, one after the other. The only notifications I had was our friend group WhatsApp chat. I was feeling really left out and thought I'd just sneak off to the toilet to send a message or two and then come right back. It wouldn't hurt anyone and my family would never know. So I excused myself and rushed off. I was only gone a couple of minutes and I made my way back to the dining room. As I approached, I noticed I couldn't hear any laughing or joking like when I left. In fact, I couldn't hear anything at all. Not even the holiday music we'd been playing in the background. As I turned the corner and went into the room, the creepiest thing happened. My family were all sat in dead silence, staring straight ahead of themselves with huge, unnatural, eerie grins on their faces. I mean like maniac grins, showing every single tooth. I thought they must have been messing with me, so I was just about to tell them to knock it off. But before I could get the words out, they all did the exact same thing at the exact same time. They turned their heads around at breakneck speed, faced me, and said in unison, "We know you've been on your phone, Samantha." What the hell? I nervously laughed and said, "Don't be stupid, you guys, now stop playing around." The grins came off their face and were replaced with looks of anger as they said in chorus, "You don't want to lie to us, Samantha. Liars go straight to hell." What the F? Then, like nothing had happened, they turned back to their plates, started laughing and talking mid-sentence even, like they'd never stopped. Even the music automatically came back on in the room. I shouted at them, "You guys, what the hell? That's not funny." They all looked at me confused. My mom said,
"Oh, Sam, sorry, we didn't hear you come in. We didn't mean to ignore you."
I confronted them and accused them of playing games, but every one of them swears it didn't happen and says I'm the one that was joking around. My family are good people and would never take a prank on that lasted a whole year. They've never admitted it and I don't know what happened, but I'm dreading this Thanksgiving and praying it doesn't happen again. Story 2. It was the day before Thanksgiving and my family were rushing around as usual, trying to get everything ready for the big day. I'm a 14-year-old male and so did my best to stay out of the way so I didn't get dragged into cleaning or running errands. I decided the best thing to do was escape the house, so I took my bike out to the forest to ride some trails where the weather was good. As I rode through the woods, I felt an ominous presence, as if someone was watching me. But as I looked around, there was nobody to be seen. It freaked me out so much that I decided to just turn back and go home. As I rode back home at full speed, I kept hearing cracking branches behind me, and it sounded like the wind was whispering my name. Paranoid, huh? I got back home and zoned out playing the PlayStation. I must have nodded off, as suddenly I shook awake from a scratching noise. My room was pitch black. What time was it? I looked at my phone and it was 2 a.m. I could still hear the scratching and thought it must be our family cat, Missy, trying to get in my bedroom. So I went to the door to answer it, but nobody was there. That was weird. Groggily, I made my way to the bed and tried to get back to sleep. But then I started to hear that noise again, but this time it sounded more like a tapping on my window. I was feeling really uneasy now and didn't want to go and check, but it kept getting louder and louder. I tried to hide my head under the pillow but couldn't drown it out. I had enough and decided to go look. Maybe it was the large oak tree branch from outside the room scraping against the glass. As I stood to walk towards the window, the room suddenly got so cold that I could see my breath. I pulled my dressing gown tighter as I stumbled towards the window, rubbing the sleep from my eyes. It wasn't the tree branch hitting the window, so what else could it be? I peered out into the thick, black darkness of the night, and at the edge of my garden I saw orange lights in the hedges. They looked like eyes, but they couldn't be. I strained to look closer, but couldn't focus on it. I decided to get the binoculars I use for stargazing to get a better look, curiosity getting the better of me. I turned to my bedside table to reach for them, but as I turned back, the eyes weren't in the hedge any longer. They were right at my window. There, on the thick limb of the oak tree, there crouched a creature, a man, a thing. It had grey skin, no hair on its body, long sharp teeth and claws, and piercing orange eyes. Suddenly it moved quickly, clambering along the branch towards me. I freaked out, screamed and yelled. I felt like I was 5 years old again, having a waking nightmare and just wanting my mom and dad. I ran out of my room and to my parents. I convinced them to go look, and they told me there was nothing there. I must have had a night terror, they said. Well, I don't know what it was, but I know I saw something. Mysterious evil creature who followed me home from the forest and waited outside my bedroom window to do God knows what to me. Let's never meet again. Story 3. This story takes place on the night of Thanksgiving in 2008 when I was 16 years old. I'm 30 now and it still sticks in my mind like it was yesterday. Growing up, I lived in a peaceful suburb where everyone got along and there was never any crime. It seemed like a different time then. iPhones were only just released and we didn't all rely on technology then like we do now. It was a simpler time really. That summer, a new neighbour had moved in a few houses down, and to be honest, he really brought the neighbourhood down. He never maintained his yard and had broke down vehicles on the lawn. He was about 40 years old, which seemed ancient to me. He barely ever seemed to come out of the house, and when he did, he kept to himself and never really even looked up. He really creeped me out, to be honest. Me and my friends used to call him the creeper, but never to his face. Anyway, back to the story. This Thanksgiving night, I was bored out of my mind and decided to go see my friends who all lived a couple of streets down. I set off, all wrapped up to stay warm. Like I said before, this was a safe neighbourhood, so I was never worried about my safety or anything. I never paid any attention to my surroundings and always had my headphones in, blasting my music. I look back now and realise maybe how dumb that was. Whenever I went past the creeper's house, I always rushed past and felt a chill up my spine. But this time, I forgot all about that feeling. As I neared the corner of our street, I'd been so busy trying to get past his house and was so relieved when I did, that I never noticed a large ice cream truck parked around the corner. I only noticed it when it was too late. The doors slid open and a bright light blinded me. I was so disorientated. I looked away and looked back again to see a tall person with a Halloween smiling clown mask walking slowly towards me. I turned to run, only to bump into another tall man with a sad clown face. He grabbed me, and the smiling clown mask guy put his soft cloth with some strong chemical smell to my face. When I was nearly knocked out by the smell, all of a sudden I fell to my knees and managed to breathe. I looked up, and all I could see was a baseball bat swinging and hitting the two masked clown guys. Then I felt somebody lift me up. I thought, no, not again. I don't want to die. In that moment, I hear a soft voice that said,
"Are you okay?"
I turned around and it was the creeper. Wait, what was he doing here? He told me to run home and call the police. When the police arrived, they found both men in the clown masks, zip-tied, inside the truck. The creeper, who I later found out was named Dean, had tied them up while waiting for the police. Since then, I've learnt my lesson and always been fully aware of my surroundings. The moral of this story is to never judge a book by its cover. The creeper, or Dean as I now know him, saved my life that day. If he wasn't there, I would have been taken away, trafficked, murdered, who knows. Only reason I know this is the police had been looking for the clown killers for 3 months. They'd driven around quiet neighborhoods and taken girls. The police found evidence of 6 girls in connection with the men. God knows how many more have not been found. But thanks to Dean, these men are now locked away and he's a local hero. Once I got to know him, I found out he was an ex-soldier who was discharged for medical reasons and had also lost his wife in a tragic accident. He was out walking that night, saw what was happening and had the courage to step up and do something, which most people wouldn't do here. So please, don't judge a book by its cover, as you never know somebody's story, and please pay attention while you're out on your own, as you might not be as lucky as me. Happy Thanksgiving, and stay safe out there. The end.